Hey guys, what's up? It's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another action figure review. This is going to be of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Red Hood figure. Very excited to be doing this action figure review, having this figure in my collection, because not only is Red Hood one of my favorite members of the Bat family, but he's become one of my favorite DC characters over the past few years. I just really like Jason Todd's backstory. We've had a few Red Hood figures over the years, but really not that many. We had some from Mattel, which was kind of mediocre, and I wasn't able to pick up some of the stuff from DC Collectibles, sadly. But we have this new one here for anyone who has been needing some kind of Red Hood figure in a domestic line. Hopefully this will itch that scratch, I guess. Let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Top half, you can see the figure in the box with some of the accessories it comes with. There's a card on the back there at the inside of the box, and you get some nice comic panels. Towards the bottom half here, you can see the rest of the figure. It does say DC Multiverse as well as Red Hood right there. On this side here, it just says DC Multiverse Red Hood, and this is the DC New 52 version, and then we have McFarlane Toys. On this side here, it also says DC Multiverse as well as Red Hood, and it's that window box continued right there on the side, and we have McFarlane Toys again at the bottom there. On the top flap for the peg, it says 22 moving parts. Now, I kind of missed it earlier, but you do see it did say ages 12 and up, and McFarlane Toys logo on the top there. On the back of the packaging, it just says McFarlane Toys, Red Hood, DC New 52, and you have this really nice image of Red Hood there that's going to be on the trading card. Then you have it says collect them all, and there's a bunch of other figures in this series. They highlight some of the Dark Knight's metal stuff there, and then on the bottom here it has the barcode in case you need it. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here is the figure out of the packaging. Overall, I do think it is a pretty awesome figure. This is the only Red Hood figure you get in your collection. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's got a few issues that are shared across pretty much a lot of McFarlane Toys figures, though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. So he comes with a trading card, as you can see there, which is pretty much the exact same thing that you saw on the back of the packaging. And then we have a circular black stand, which has a black font on it that just says DC. I'm not taking it out of the box because I don't want to ruin the box. We get a card and a stand for pretty much every DC figure that McFarlane Toys makes. Now we get some actual accessories with this figure. We have two pistols. These came out pretty nice. I like the sculpting overall. One of them is a little warped though, so we're just going to look at one for now, which is actually really freaking bright because of the silver paint. Pretty good sculpting. You see the bat logo, the Red Hood bat logo, I should say, on the side there. Do have pretty good sculpting overall. This little rail system. This is not a rail system. This is the rail system. What am I talking about? I don't know what this is technically supposed to be for the slide here, but we do have the nice trigger on there. The handle is also pretty nice. I just don't like that it's all one paint. You know, it's all one color. I feel like it should be, you know, it has some variation, at least in the handle. But the silver metallic paint that they did use for this figure is actually really solid. The only other problem I have with it is that it doesn't have a barrel sculpted in here like the Flashpoint Batman pistols, which are freaking nice. We do have weapon storage though, which it gave me some trouble when I did this earlier, so I'm going to back out real quick. Pretty much what you're going to do, since these are actually a little bit softer, you can just kind of slip them on in there. There we go, that's easier than before. Should be able to just push them on in there, and they'll fit pretty nicely. Paint rubbing might occur, because this is a black mold, and this is a silver paint, so just be careful with that. Who knows what could happen. They just nailed the sculpt. I'm trying not to be biased. I think I'm actually being pretty impartial. You know, I'm not trying to let my Red Hood favoritism come through. But man, this is, you gotta admit, even if you know, knock on Todd for some of the decisions he makes with some of his figures, this head sculpt is freaking awesome. This is one of the best. You know, from all the ones I've seen, I may not have seen all of them in person, you know, from DC Collectibles and whatnot. You know, DC Collectibles did a pretty good job, but this head sculpt has to be, to me, one of the better Red Hood head sculpts I've ever seen. This is so awesome. The red metallic paint comes through really nicely. The black lines going on throughout the mouth and the head there, all the head pieces and whatnot, is super duper clean. And the white eyes, just how I like my Red Hood with white eyes, which, you know, we usually get those. Pretty nice as well. The only problem I have is there's some kind of weird sculpting. I don't know if that's supposed to be intentional. You can see those little marks up there. But the rest of the sculpting is really nice. You actually get an angry expression coming through on the helmet there, which is just really freaking spectacular. A little bit of some protruding ears right there as well. The only other problem is that I kind of noticed with McFarlane Toys figures as well is that there's this ugly seam line for the mold right there going on throughout the top. That could be forgiven though, because overall the execution of the head sculpt is phenomenal. And we do have, if you separate this a little bit, an actually nicely sculpted Red Hood Bat logo right there. And the red paint is super clean. They have to cover some of this with a jacket. And even then, you know, the rest of it is clean. There is no paint splotching or anything. I don't see any red on the jacket. There could be a little bit of it fading onto there, but I don't see anything on there. The jacket itself is a softer plastic. It's all just one color, unfortunately. I do wish it had a little bit of some, you know, black wash, but the actual sculpting where the wrinkles are, so with some of the lines on there in there, the rolled up sleeves, the collar, the zipper could have some paint. That's one thing. But it's a nice short brown jacket and it looks spectacular. More of the collar right there. I really dig that, man. They even put a line for the seam line on the rolled up part there. So that's pretty cool. You have, this is kind of a very basic color here for the black, but it has a little bit of nice muscle sculpted right there around the elbow section. You have some exposed arms, which the skin tone comes through pretty nicely. And these gloves are also pretty okay. Now, one thing you'll notice about these gloves, where's the hinge? Where's the ball hinge that we get for these figures? Well, it's actually hidden underneath this soft plastic piece for the hand. And I was able to look at it. I don't want to potentially pull on it and break it, but there is a ball hinge under there. But because of how it's sculpted, it really does not allow for a greater range of articulation, unfortunately, so you really only get a swivel out there. But the actual hand itself, like with the trigger finger, some of the knuckles on there, the lines going on the back of the hand, are actually really nice. I left the gun on there. The rest of the, I was just pointing out because I just noticed, the rest of this torso, I forgot to mention, has great muscles as well as this nice armor sculpted on there. It looks like some rivets on there as well, and some of the abs. It just looks extremely well done. The lines as well coming from here look really cool. You have some silver on the belt there with some nice sculpting overall. It's a very basic sculpt for the belt. You can't really mess up a belt too much, I guess, without, I mean, the one way you can is, you know, very little detail, which Marvel Legends sometimes has with some of their belts. It's a weird nitpick. It's not really even something I'm gonna knock against right here. It's a pretty good silver. I just think they did a good job. It's not the most spectacular belt in the world, but it doesn't need to be. Pretty good holsters. There's some glossy black paint going on around here. There's some matte black as well. Nice wrinkles and stretching going on throughout the pants, as you can see. There's the butt too. Some nice lines continued, as you can see, going from here onto the actual leg, which they did a really good job making it kind of look a little seamless. Once you move it, of course, that seam line is going to appear, but they do continue the legs, the lines sculpted on the leg there, which is actually really nice. You have these glossy black pieces around the leg there, and it gets a little bit more wrinklage towards the knees. Those knee pads look good. The shin guards also came through pretty well. I think they look a little skinny, but I think that's accurate to the source material. The boots are also pretty good. There's the top of them. Pretty nicely sculpted all the way around. It looks like it has a type of mesh going on in there. I'm not entirely sure, but it still looks pretty nice. There's the bottom of the feet, which has some glossy black and a little bit of treading. Overall, man, I think that they did a pretty good job sculpting this. Todd, I could tell, definitely wanted to make sure that he got this one right, and I think honestly he did. I'm going to do a quick 360, which you might not be able to see everything, but it is just such a really good looking figure. Now, articulation's about what you expect with McFarlane Toys. It has a bald peg at the head, so it can actually go up, sort of. The down is not horrible, actually. That's actually not too bad. side to side actually really well, and it will do a full rotation. I had, when I was moving this forward and back, this popped out, but it didn't break, so I can push it back in. It does have a little bit of a butterfly joint, but it's not the most strong, it's not really going to get that much motion, but we do have a swivel at the arms. The only other problem I have with this figure at the arms don't want to sit down completely naturally, but they aren't super horrible looking when they're all the way. Actually, it looks a little bit better. Just the way his back is kind of arched is very much like in an attitude type of pose. So, it's a lot of the posing you can still get really out. You can get some natural posing out of him. We do have upper arm swivels. We do have double jointed elbows. We do have that wrist system, like I said, where it does hinge. It swivels here at the forearm, and it would swivel here, but it's covered by that plastic glove. So right now, all I can really do without hopefully, potentially breaking it, because I can't see where the hinge is swivel there. Ball joint waist, so it can swivel all the way around, crunch forward, side to side, and it has two different areas of a swivel. So it's not the strongest up here. There's very little motion I'm getting out of, around the abs, but at the actual waist, you can do a full rotation and whatnot. It can side to side. Legs go forward that much. Back, not really at all. In and out. Please do thigh swivels. You could literally insert a thigh swivel right here, Todd. I don't know why we have to have barely a thigh swivel where the sculpt gets in the way. Come on. It's not that hard. Double jointed knees. I know I sounded pretty harsh there, but it's just every figure, and we do have a swivel here at the ankle. Up and down is not the greatest at the foot. We do have ankle rockers and a toe hinge, which actually bends really well. So, overall, pretty good articulation. Come on, give us the thigh swivel, please. So for size comparisons, I'll have to have a McFarlane Toys Batman Arkham Knight version of Batman here, which is really one of the only Bruce Wayne Batmans I own from McFarlane Toys right now, and I thought I would like this figure. I actually really don't, unfortunately. On the right, that is a DC Collectibles Arkham Origins Deathstroke, because I also didn't want to bother getting the McFarlane Toys version because I heard it was actually pretty horrible, but it's only a little bit shorter than Red Hood here. But the Batman on the left is going to be taller than all three. And then I brought out my custom Red Hood that Omega Doom made for me. Follow him on Instagram if you want to see more of his stuff. He makes great customs. He made this for me a few years ago. I still really like it, but I'm also glad to have, just an official Red Hood figure in my collection like this. Overall, this figure is very solid. I think McFarlane Toys did a very good job. I don't have very many problems with it. I just wish we would actually get thigh swivels. To me, it's starting to get annoying that we're not getting any, when it, to me, should be one of the easiest things that can be done with an action figure. Some of the other parts of the figure get in the way of articulation, like the gloves with the wrist hinges, which to me isn't really that big of a deal. I overall am very happy with this figure. The overall sculpt, some paint could be lacking here or there, but what we do have with paint is fantastic. That head sculpt is phenomenal. The bat logo on his chest is sculpted really nice. The rest of the torso, pretty much everything is sculpted really well. I have no problem with sculpting. I just wish he came with fists, so that way we can have him with punching poses. I guess that would have been hard because of how the glove system is done. But I'm glad that we do get pistols, because he should have at least come with pistols, and he does. And they are really well done. Overall, it's just a really great figure. If you haven't picked it up, I do recommend picking it up, whether that be if you want to go with the 2-pack version that was with the red version of Nightwing, or just the single version, which I pre-ordered on Target's website. I think it might be first to market there. I don't think it's an exclusive. I have no idea. I haven't heard word about exclusivity or anything, but so far the only link I could find for the single released figure is from Target's website. So check it out over there and see if there's any more for pre-order, or see if there are any in your area. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends, and I'll see you guys later.